Good evening, folks. Jason here, one of the pro traders over at TrueTrader.net. Former market maker, been around the business since '93. Everybody knows me as the Goose over in the chat room. You guys are getting to know me, hopefully. I've been putting these out every week on Wednesday night, and hopefully you guys are liking it. I'm trying to keep them short, around 10 to 15 minutes long, so you guys could rifle through them and try to give you a whole bunch of different ideas that I'm looking at. Hopefully you guys are liking what you're seeing. If you do like it, I ask that you hit that like button and make sure you subscribe so you can see that when we're putting out content. You know, Ricky's putting out the Sunday prep, which has been amazing. You know, there's just so much stuff that we have going on over there between YouTube and over at TrueTrader.net. Hopefully you guys are, make sure you subscribe. Come check us out also. Love to see you over there. So with that all being said, great job, Ricky, as always, on the Sunday night prep. It's always bang on. Good stuff there. And let's see what I can put out this week. Last week's Wednesday prep hit pretty sweet, so let's see what this week's does. It's a lot of pressure, I guess. Let me go into the disclaimer, and then I want to talk about one other quick thing here. TrueTrader nor its representatives are registered as a security broker dealer or investment advisor with the SEC or any state regulatory authorities. We are not licensed nor qualified to provide investment advice. Folks, this is 100% entertainment purposes only. Do not copy me. Do not follow me. Have your own, plans. This is just entertainment purposes or educational purposes only. This is not any type of solicitation whatsoever. So with that being said, I want to take a quick second and just talk about a topic. I've been around this business a really, really, really long time. And I just want to, I haven't given one of these talks, and I'll keep it, I promise you, just a couple minutes just to make a couple points, Today, lost somebody that I knew that was really young, 24 years old, and it's just amazing. Anytime this thing happens, it really just bangs you up a little bit. And I just want to remind you guys, I've been doing this. I remember getting in the business in '93, and it was, just pushing and driving to, get a fancy car or being able to buy a house and make six figures and all these different things. And then the next thing you know, it's I want to be a millionaire, and then I want to make $1 million in a year, and there was always these goals, and they just kept going and going and going, and something finally woke me up, and it was not that long ago. It was about 8 years ago when I had my kids, and I went through a lot of people that have gotten to know me know what I've gone through, with my children, and it really woke me up to prioritize my life. And I just want to push this on to you guys today, and just remember, folks, please, this is not, we don't, what is it, live to work. I mean, that's not the right way to do it, guys. You're working to have a life. So make sure you guys are, hugging your loved ones, enjoying life, creating memories, doing all that stuff. Trust me, it matters. The fancy cars, the big houses, the watches, all the fancy stuff. Stop trying to impress everybody else around you. Just do it for you and what your goals are and what your life wants to be about. Whether you're young or older or whatever it is, I know that this business, there's a lot of flashiness that goes around. It's not worth it, guys. I'm telling you right now, do what's important to you, create a career, create a lifestyle that you want, but make sure you're living that lifestyle and living good and living with your family and your friends and always make sure you're prioritizing your right way. So with that all being said, I just want to mention that real quick before I get going. Let me dive right in and talk a little bit about the stock market here. The stock market had a good bounce today. So, this is kind of what we were waiting on. I have the SPY up right here. Let me blow it up a little bit. And this big purple line, this is the 50-day. We talked about it while it was up here. We were saying, every 17 days or so, it kind of comes down into that, or 19 days or whatever. Came a little bit earlier, but here's a test right into the 50-day here. Came in off 50-day, had a nice bounce day today. We'll see if that carries through tomorrow and see what happens going into the end of the week here. But this is what we wanted. We wanted a pull, so we asked for it and we got it. So I know that just remember, during this action, especially if you're swinging stocks, it feels terrible. But this is what you need for look at this action. Let's take a look at this together for a second. I just want to make a quick point. Like, we always cry on these down days. They're down 200 points, and you look at your portfolio and it's red, and it's like, oh my God, this sucks. Unrealized, I lost thousands of dollars, and this is how it feels. But when it does do these pullbacks and it tests this level, you'll notice a couple weeks later it's making new highs in the market, and you're back to feeling great. Make sure you're balancing your highs and your lows, guys. Keep your lows a little bit higher and keep your highs a little bit lower. Let's say it like that, okay? So just make sure you're balancing yourself. I mean, look at the market. It tests the 50-day, makes new highs. Tests the 50-day, we'll see what happens. But you get the idea of the pattern. The market's been going up forever. Okay, when I got in the market, I think the Dow was at 3,000 or something crazy like that. So you listen, I mean, market keeps going up, and it's just make sure you're balancing yourself. QQQ looks a little bit different. Didn't quite make the 50-day. But this is the NASDAQ, and this didn't quite make it, but it was down a little bit below the 20-day. Looks like it's holding there. We'll see what happens with the Qs. But with that all being said, let's jump into some ideas here that I have. All right, so let's see. Let's start off with NUE. So NUE I have written down 107 and 106. So let me blow this up a little bit more for you, and I did. You can see this is a Fibonacci retrace play right here that I have, and what I wrote down is a really strong name. You could see. Had a big push after earnings. The numbers were, in my opinion, nice numbers. And what I'm looking for is two things. Either off this previous low, and I'm going to talk about it for a second, or off this annual pivot, okay? And a couple things on this. One of the things that I liked is this stock went below the 50-day, closed above it, closed actually on highs today. That's one thing that I like to look for, stocks that close on highs. Usually they have some follow-through possibly the next day. So that's what I'm going to be looking for on NUE. Okay. The other thing about this one here is that I also like about this is the Fibonacci on this. So if you actually draw this fib, you'll see 50% retrace, and this is the pocket right here, 50% to 60%, which is a nice retrace back into this annual pivot from this move from down here. So that's what I just wanted to show you guys. So this is a nice play. Should have some follow through. I was a day early. I had this on my what's today, Wednesday? I think it was my Monday prep, and I had it, or it was yesterday maybe even. But anyway, I had it up there off the 106 level, and it didn't give it yesterday, and today it gave the 110 push. So I was a day early on it, but now the chart's really setting up, looking good for another leg up. So I really like NUE. I want to put it back on there for today. ALLY is my next one. That's ALLY, and I wrote down 5170 on this. Okay, that's the previous low, and 50 days what I wrote down. As you can see, I'm keeping the chart blowing up a little bit for a second. You can see the 50 days is purple line, previous low, and you can see it's been holding this level down here as well. It's been holding the 50-day support. I want to show you something really cool about ALLY, and this is, again, there's only a couple things I'm going to dive in a little bit further on. These happen to be a couple of them. ALLY, this to me is starting to look a little bit like what's called an inverted, a head and shoulders pattern, okay? And when I'm looking at, just to give you an idea, and I'm going to draw it for you guys with my mouse, if you follow me for a second, I'm going to blow this up a little bit more. But this is the bottom of that shoulder. Here's the top of the shoulder right here. It comes back down. Here you got the head right here. And what I'm thinking about is this push right back up here to show a little bit of a base. And that's what I'm looking for, is this the next push, which is kind of this pattern here. And I think this is going to push up into this 54 area. That's what I'm thinking about, which would be the neckline. We'll end up being the neckline on that. If you guys want to learn a little bit more about patterns, come over to truetrader.net. I've done videos about them. But anyway, this is one that's kind of looking like it's setting up on the daily for another leg up on this. So ALLY did make my list. Watch it out the 50-day or the previous low. So see this pattern setting up. Looks pretty interesting. Next one is GE. GE I wrote down off 100.70. You can see probably exactly what I'm looking at here. Let me blow it up so you can see how the stocks look. Big picture. Now let's blow it up into the shorter term time frame here, and you can see right off the 200-day is what I wrote down, as well as the previous day's low. Okay, and the other thing I want to talk about with GE is if you see numbers a little messed up here, TradingView has had a little issue over the last couple days, so I apologize for that, but I'll talk out the numbers for you. This previous low is 100.69. That century mark should be really nice as well. So I actually wrote down a possible add off that $100 number, which is 99.94 is this other pivot right down here. So right off 100, and it held it the other day, 2 days ago. So I like this, level. I think the start though is off that 100.70, right off that 200-day and that previous day low. So we'll see what happens with GE. Next one on my list, Capital One, COF. All right, and here you can see it's holding a level, been consolidating over the last week or so. I wrote down 155 on COF, and that is off that monthly pivot and the previous day's low. The previous day's low is 154.81. I went up to the whole number there, 155, and I wrote down monthly pivot, previous low, and support. 126 day is just right below it. The yellow line is a 126 day. That's a 6-month moving average, just in case you want to know. as far as trading days go. So that's what that's up there for. And that's that yellow line. So it's just below that as well. So I think there should be some nice support. And as you can see, it's holding this last 6-month moving average as well. So that's Capital One. Moving right along. We're going to go into DDD, 3D Systems. So this is another one. I'm kind of anticipating a leg up. You could kind of see this trend line. If you kind of draw a trend line here, it's kind of holding on to it. I wrote down 29.10, which is going to be the previous day's low. 29.09 was the low, so I went right above that, 29.10, and you can see the 50-day as well there. And what I'm looking for is for it to hold that trend line and make another leg up. It's been doing the same thing. It's been kind of coming down to the trend line and then making another leg up, coming down to kissing it, making another leg up. So there's not one with huge ATR on it. It's less than $2, but if you could buy it and have tight risk, you guys have seen a couple of those that I put on there. CLF from a week or two ago had super tight risk, and it gave a pretty sweet trade. I think it gave over $1. So, you know, just a DDD, this is one I'm looking at from a risk-reward standpoint. I like it off 29.10. All right, BBWI, let's jump right into. And that's Bath and Body Works, BBWI. I wrote down on BBWI 63.20 and 62.20. Okay, and there's a couple things on here I wrote down. Let me just get this a little bit bigger here, 63.20. So 63.20, it's a 50-day and a retrace. Okay, so you can see the 50-day, this purple line right here. So if you actually, from today's move, what I'm talking about is a retrace right into that 63.20. It's probably about 65, 70% of a retrace from, remember, I've talked about this prior, but if you're new to listening, I like to look at really strong stocks, and the next day, any type of weakness buying those stocks. That's what I look for, especially, you know, if the market's behaving itself. So this is a case right here where I'm looking at where there's a strong stock today. BBWI came off right off the 50-day, closed above the 50-day, closed up really nice. And what I'm looking at on this is anticipating possibly even a breakout here. You can see how kind of it's pushing over all this resistance level, and that's what I'd be looking for on that. Maybe a push into this 66, maybe 67 area. So we'll see what happens. But, you know, if you buy it right down here, down 63, could be a really nice trade. On the 62.20 level is a quarterly pivot, right off this quarterly right here. That'd be below the lows, but I also like it as previous monthly. All this consolidation, you can see previous resistance as well in there. Previous resistance usually equals new support. So let's continue on. Sorry, I think I'm taking up a little time here, but trying to give you guys a little bit more. Next one is going to be CAR. That's AVIS. CAR, I wrote down 86.05, and you can see this is a funny one. I wrote down its support and previous day's low. This is one that I pulled up, and I see these two hammer candles here. You know how they're looking here, and getting bought right back up. To me, this is a nice chart. Nice. If you actually again look at a trend here, what is staying, not even kissing the 50-day, and then getting right back up. Looks pretty good to me. So 86.05 is right off this previous day's low. Got the whole number there. You can see it held to this day as well. Bounced back up. This day never got that low. So off that 86 number, I'm looking for a nice little trade if it does dip and try it again tomorrow morning. Next one, my favorite ticker in the whole wide world. Thank you, Ricky. Dick's. Richards Sporting Goods. Listen, there's a couple things about Richards I want to talk about here. First of all, I wrote down 29.10 as a price. 29.10, okay? Let me show you something on this, okay? So 29.10, first of all, hang on a sec. Excuse me, I apologize. 130, I don't know where I came up with 29.10. I had DDD I was looking at. 130.20, sorry, correction. 130.20 on that, okay? 130.20, first of all, is the previous day's low, as well as this monthly pivot area here. You can see the support, and what I'm looking for is a break of this level right here, okay? Closed on absolute highs. I'd love for it to come test it again. I wrote down on regarding Dick's, I wrote the 20-day monthly pivot, previous low, and incoming a resistance break. And that's what I'm looking at. Closing on highs and making another leg up and testing this area up here that it was up the other day. This had, I think it was up on big earnings. You can see right here this big gap that it had. It held the gap. Had a nice day today. Let's see if there's some follow through tomorrow on it. So that's DKS, Richards Sporting Goods. Richard. CPRI, I wrote down 5070. This was on last week's prep, I'm pretty sure. Sorry to put it again, but this is one that it's been a good one for me. You know, as far as a trader, it's not a huge volume name, but it has a couple dollar ATR. And when I see things like this, a 200-day and a quarterly pivot line up, I kind of lick my chops at it and think those are pretty good levels. So that's as simple as that. I'm looking at a 200-day quarterly pivot, see if it makes one more low here and does a little reversal off that level here. So that's what I'm looking for CPRI. Moving along, so there's two things here. The last two, I know it's really was supposed to be one, and then I looked at one more ticker. It has to be. It's in the exact same industry, and you could choose whichever one. Both of them actually look good to me. First one I put down was LENNAR. They're both home builders. I put down LENNAR and Toll, but I'll come back to Toll in a second. I wrote down 97.10. You could see these monthly pivots right here from the prior last 2 months are right in that level as well, that 97 area. And you can see it keeps getting bought off this 97 area. So it's actually a decent, almost a $3 ATR on this. Prior lows, looking for a bounce. Previous monthly pivots. That's what I'm looking for LENNAR. I almost didn't put it because the Toll chart looked even a little bit juicier as a I'm going to switch over to TOL. But the problem with Toll Brothers is the volume. So volume is really light on Toll Brothers, okay? It's usually, today I traded 1 million shares or a little over 1 million. But I want to show you what I was looking at, 59.10. I saw that you had a couple things here, confluence of things. You had a monthly pivot. You had a 50-day and the previous low. I mean, that's quite a bit right there. So there's some things that I like, but you got to worry about the volume on this. So I just want to put that up just if you guys like some of those lighter volume names, a little bit slower trades. TOL might be a good play as well. Both of them are home builders. I always kind of have a rule as far as getting involved with trying to and I did it last week or at some point where I had more than one retail name on, and it actually got me a little bit. So just got to be careful about having too many from the same industry. So right now I think LEN probably is going to be the play for me tomorrow when I look at it off that 97.10 area. But I just want to throw Toll in there as well so you can see both of them in the same industry. So with that all being said, that's all I have for you. I know this was a little bit longer. I apologize, guys, but I did want to get in a couple words at the beginning. Guys, I appreciate you guys all tuning in. Please leave your comments. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. And if you're going to put a thumbs down, make sure you tell me why. Don't be shy to tell me why. I appreciate it. I'm a big boy. I can handle it. And again, guys, remember why do we do this? We don't do it to be flashy. We do it because it's a career. This is what we love to do. This is to, create memories, for our loved ones and our family, and let's keep it at that. So I wish you guys all a great evening, and I will see you bright and early in the morning. I appreciate you guys. Come check us out over at truetrader.net. Thank you, guys.